Hello everyone, and welcome to our Equine Readers Club. I'm here with Alice and Lisa, two of our miniature donkeys, very sweet girls. Lisa here is one of our, actually the oldest resident here, and she's 36 years old. And I love her hairstyle. She's got bangs in the front, right? And they're very interested in my story, which happens to be about a mini donkey and his friend. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to read How Murphy Became a Hero by Elle Williams. And if you remember, Elle Williams also wrote Where's Emma, the story about the mule that we did in the very beginning. So How Murphy Became a Hero by Elle Williams. And this book is illustrated by Bonnie Shields. So I hope you enjoy. All right, girls, are you ready? You want to see the story? See? How Murphy Became a Hero. My name is Murphy. I'm a large miniature donkey. Just the normal type, gray with big ears. I have a black cross on my back and stripes on my legs. I have a very special story that I would like to share with you. It's a story of how I helped my new friend Jack and how I became a hero. My story starts when I was given to a man as a pet. I was about 10 years old at the time, and I had not been taught very much. I didn't know how to be a nice donkey. Not like you girls, right? The man didn't know how much about donkeys either, and he did not know that donkeys do not like dogs. Donkeys are used to protect herds of sheep from wolves, and because wolves look like dogs, a dog doesn't stand a chance with a donkey around. When the man's little Jack Russell dog came into my paddock, boy, did I have fun chasing him away. Unfortunately, the man didn't find it funny, and he gave me away to a rescue. Actually, being given to the rescue was a great thing for me. I was gelded, fixed so I can't make babies, got my feet trimmed back, and it doesn't hurt to move around anymore. Then I went to school where I had to learn some manners. Did you guys ever have to go to school to learn manners? Huh? Did you girls ever go to school? No? At my school, I learned how to walk nice on a lead rope and how to stand still for the farrier to trim my feet, like trimming your fingernails. I also learned how much fun it is to get treats and how to get kissed on my nose. It certainly wasn't much fun for people to try to help me before I went to school. All I knew was buck, bite, and kick. I wasn't a nice donkey at all. After I was taught some manners, I was adopted by a very nice lady named Tess. Tess has special talents in that she can talk to animals and really helps a lot with their problems. I know she really helped me a lot, and we had a lot of fun. Tess liked to play hide and seek with me, and it was a blast. What do you think, Lisa? Do you want to play some hide and seek later? You think you would like that? I moved to where Tess was living with a very handsome black and white paint horse named Mesa. Mesa is very wise and is a good companion, but he doesn't like to play hide and seek. Now to the rest of my story, and the real fun part. One evening, Mesa and I were in the pasture just munching on tasty grass, and I lay down and rolled to scratch my back. I got up and brushed myself off, only to find that I was on the other side of the fence, outside of my field. I looked and looked, but I could not find my way back inside. Oh boy, what fun! So I started on what turned out to be a great and wonderful adventure. Girls, if you got out, what would you do? Where would you go? Huh? Off I went in search of someone to play with. I found some deer. They weren't too interested and just stared at my ears and ran away. Then I saw some raccoons, and a possum, and a fox, and of course, lots of birds. But no one would take the time to play with me. I think they were all afraid of my big, long ears. Then, off in the distance, I heard something familiar. But it wasn't like a horse. It was another donkey. I went back to my field to tell Mesa so he could tell Tess that I was off on my adventure. But Mesa had wandered back into the barn, and then I couldn't even see him. Oh well, I'll just come back later. It was pretty late by now, and it was really dark. Down the street I went, through people's backyards, following the lonely sound of hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. I got to a road, and there weren't any cars coming, so I quickly crossed the road. Then I went down a scary driveway past a big, scary goat with big curly horns that was standing on a doghouse in a pen with a big, tall fence. Quietly, I continued to walk along, and suddenly the hee-haw happened again, and it was really close. Then I realized there was a fence between me and the noise. I just gotta see what's in there. I backed up and jumped as high as I could. Guess what? I cleared the fence with inches to spare and found myself face to face with what looked like me, but smaller. That's when I first saw Jack. Oh, the awful memories came flooding back. Here in front of me was what I looked like 4 years before. Jack's feet were so long and curled up it looked like he had on curly-toed bedroom slippers. They were so long it was hard for him to walk, and he was in pain. We talked all night. Jack told me how for 4 years he was originally kept in a shed behind a townhouse. The people loved him, but didn't know anything about donkeys. Then a very kind man saw him and took him home. He was then outside at least, and did get care, but his feet still grew too fast and curled up. Jack was now 14 years old, had 3 goats for company, but had never been with any other horses or had any equine friends. Like Lisa and Alice here, right? You guys are besties. Jack was so happy, he was just about beside himself with joy. That's exactly what the man that owned him thought the next day. That he was seeing double. Yesterday 1 donkey, today 2. Gee, another donkey. Who does he belong to? What am I going to do with another new guy? The man was very confused. Meanwhile, Tess is looking everywhere, driving up and down the road, calling the police, everyone she knows, with no help. Please help me find my donkey. No one has any information. No one has seen Murphy. Seems like he just vanished into thin air. One day, a lady pulls Tess into Tess's driveway and asks her if she was the one that lost a donkey. Yes, Tess says. Did she have some information on where he is? Yes, the lady says. She had some work done on her car at the body shop just across the street, and the man told her that he had found a donkey. Tess went down the street, and there was Murphy, just as happy as he could be with his new friend Jack. He was happy and healthy, but he couldn't stay there. He needed to come home. Arrangements were made for Tess to have some help to walk him back home. Of course, Murphy had some different ideas about the whole thing, and once he got a little bit away from Jack, and Jack started hee-hawing again, Murphy went back. Jack didn't ever want to be alone again. Murphy couldn't leave his new friend and dragged Tess and Tom back to his field, each one hanging onto a lead shank for dear life. You can't stop a donkey when they make up their mind to go somewhere. Is that true, Lisa? Is that true? Tess then had to talk to the man and explain to him that she couldn't take her donkey home without his donkey. So he decided to give Jack to Tess so he could go home with Murphy. Murphy and Jack are happy now. Jack has lots of work done on his feet and are almost trimmed back to where they need to be. Jack can run much easier now and without pain. All Jack and Murphy have to do is let people brush and hug them. Jack has been rescued, and Murphy is certainly Jack's hero. Murphy is very proud of his rescue and his new lifelong friend, little Jack. What'd you girls think of that story? Does it remind you guys of your friendship? Huh? What did you think? What'd you think? I think I scared her. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. What did you think of our story? Can you think of any pairs of equines that are very best friends that you'd like to tell us about? If you do, feel free to write to us or email us. And have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.